I can take that one. Yeah. So in my experience, what you're really looking for is something exceptional. So where people have gone above and beyond. So the real focus on their team and on their client. You're looking for something a little bit different, but also quite personal. I love personally a good testimonial. So if you've got a good client testimonial, get that in there, because I think that's what really brings it to life, when you can see how the clients view the agent and view the tax practice. So personalize it, make it, get those testimonials in, get any evidence in you can, but make it very personal and about you. And it really is your chance to showcase what you do and what makes you stand out from the crowd.
When judging, you end up with 20 or 30 entries that you look through, and most will say we do tax very well, we do accounts very well, for example, and you kind of get through to the third or fourth one and you don't really know which one to take forward, because you take it everybody's doing something very well. So it's almost, you've got to accept that that's for granted, that's taken for granted, that you're entering because you do the basics quite well and the bread and butter quite well. So it's what's standing out. And equally, the way that the submission form is put together, how is that standing out? I think seeing a typical Word document and line after line of text, break it up with some pictures, break it up with something just a bit different to grab a judge's eye. That I've found it works from an entry point of view, from winning, and a judging point of view as well. You really see the difference. You've got to appreciate, I kind of put it to the teacher marking 500 exam papers. You worry if you're the 500th one that they've gone through and thinking, oh God, are they just at this point just ticking or crossing? You don't know what way to do it. So the same kind of thing, what's actually going to stand out as an entry, and a bit of thought process on that is definitely helpful.
We assume you can do tax returns, so it's lovely that you're very good at that bit, but what we're really looking for is the above and beyond. So there's nothing worse, I don't think, when you're judging something like this, if you get 20 submissions and they're all saying the same things, because you can't pick and choose between people. So we really want to see the things that you've done that are different, the innovative approaches you've taken, the things you've done to help your clients, help your firm progress. And I would always say, I think we've got a bit of a bad habit in Britain of being a bit not wanting to blow our own trumpets, but this is the exact time for you to blow your own trumpet when you're putting together one of these submissions. So if you've done something and you think it's great, tell us. And I think everything you said about making it stand out a little bit, not just huge blocks of text. Anything you can do to help the judges is always very much appreciated.
Yeah, I've seen entries forms before which I like in different formats. So you might actually have a newspaper format, for example, or a magazine, a department magazine, or a firm magazine, or something around a firm's away day, or something that's just a little bit where you grab the form and you think, oh, I want to read this one. And that's not saying we don't read all of entries that come in, but it just makes you grab. So you're always going to think, oh, that one has in my mind stood out, and if it's a printout, I'm going to put that aside without a doubt, because you really want to read it. So I think just being a bit quirky at times, obviously there's got to be a bit of substance behind it. When we come back to what's an award-winning look like, there's got to be some evidence, as you said. Testimonials are always good behind there. I think any form of kind of accreditations or something that you've got in the year. B Corp was a one for us as previous winners. It was quite, we made sure we push on that. But again, personally, I would stay clear of just, Arial 10 or 12 text on a Word document and just saying how wonderful you are as a basic point. That can work, but just maybe in a slightly different, tweaked way. One bit, get a copywriter to look over it, or get a fresh set of eyes over it, because the one bit is poor grammar. Personally, it's frustrating. It's an awards entry saying how wonderful you are, and if it's poor grammar on an entry form, sometimes marketing departments will help put them together, so they might have a copywriter to look over. But this day and age, digitally, that's quite easy to get online. A copywriter as a service that won't charge a fortune, get them to take a look without a doubt. And I've just add to that as well, certainly coming away from the AI, chat GPTs, etc. of this world, to expect that won't get picked up. It will get picked up. There are ways you start reading and thinking, I don't think this person's put it together. So again, when we come back sort of standing out, you're not going to get, you want it to be personalised. You can sense when somebody's written it. I think definitely well written, in a good quirky format, give it a bit of personal touch on it, and just avoid those grammar errors. A bit, just sorry, I will let you jump in a second, Emma, but one other bit I just thought of, it can be if it's too much style and not enough substance at all. So too much flair. It's just full of pictures and talking about how wonderful the business is without actually any substance behind it. Comes back to testimonials. It might be interviews with staff, maybe a quite good idea, but just one person sort of saying, we're a fantastic firm, this is everything we've done. I would really think, well, where's the kind of evidence from it? And those testimonials as well, don't pick them up from a website where it just somebody's previously given it. I think relating to a specific piece of work from a client is helpful, and there's absolutely no shame in asking a client, we'd say, be proud, we're putting ourselves forward for this award, and would you mind giving us a testimonial, and ask for a detailed testimonial. And even if you want to provide some wording, I don't see that as a problem as long as you've got validation on it.
I think people quite often like to be asked to do that as well. It's a nice thing, I think, to be involved with your business partners in that way, and you can always ask them, offer to return the favour in the future.
Yeah, it's quite nice. I mean, you are stating that you're putting yourself forward for an award.
Yeah,
I mean that's got to be good for client service, and you're proud about the piece of work you've done for X client. I think you're right. If client is, here's I'm putting myself forward for this bit of work, it's award category in a certain category of award, then fantastic. I think they would be proud.
Avoid sort of bland generalities, would be what I would say. Don't just say, we are deeply committed to the well-being of our staff. Show what you've done to prove that, because I think there's a tendency to just sometimes, use very stock phrases without actually digging into and proving that that's something you do and how you do that more than any other employer. So do personalise it, absolutely. Do avoid ChatGPT, we probably can tell, as you said, Chris. And yeah, I love testimonials from clients, from business partners, from staff. I think they bring it to life. So.
I think it's going to be similar to, as we've already mentioned, that making sure you do stand out, making sure you do get across the positives in the right way. We're fortunate enough to be at a firm where we've won a few awards over the last few years, and which is lovely. But I think we actually had a bit of a debrief to look at why, because obviously you like to think that it's all down to how wonderful we are, but the reality is it's down to the entrance that we put in. Now, we don't make any statements that aren't true on there, but the way we're writing them is definitely changed over the years. So again, that thinking a little bit different, a bit clever, a bit don't be afraid to be different in the way you're putting things together. We've had entries before with certain puns that have been in there, so it might be a play on something. It might have been around a big office away day that we've done with murals, and we've linked into that. We've definitely had pictures. We've definitely had staff interviews. We've definitely mentioned about things such as our B Corp accreditation before. So I think there's lots of ways you can promote, and it comes back to making sure you do stand out as a business and as an entry form. That's where I really would say the biggest tip would be to make sure you do. Obviously, as a business, it's fantastic to win an award, without a doubt. Just to win the award is great, and where you can, you attend the night as a staff. A bit of a party is fantastic for morale, etc. We'd always recommend that. to be shortlisted, you can mark it off the shortlisting. And we've done that before. As soon as we've been told we're shortlisted, we make sure upon emails, we make sure we tell clients, we make sure we're proud that we've been shortlisted for an award, because it's an achievement in its own right. It's very rare that you'll get 2 or 3 entries for an award and therefore you feel like you've got to shortlist everybody. You've got partway there just through getting into a shortlisting. And I think at that stage, be proud of that. And then obviously there's nothing you can do further in terms of being able to win or anything you can do, but make a point of really, if you can, go on the night, enjoy the night. If anything, it's a morale and it's a bit of networking that you can do, and being surrounded by peers on a night out is not a terrible thing. One thing I would add with that, if you are there on the night and you don't win an award, go and have a chat with the people that have won. Just because it's a chat, it's an opportunity to go and talk to another firm, and talk to them about their entry, etc. That may sound terribly boring, but it's a conversational piece that you can do on the night. You can hunt out the winners, see where they are on the table, and talk to somebody there. It needs to be about the actual entry form, but just about the work in general. So I say it's a good networking piece. It's a good piece of advertising for the business. Great if you win, but you know what? Even if you're shortlisted, it's a really, really good achievement to be proud of.
Chris, do you practice your Oscars?
No, the bits these days, a lot of it is filmed. Actually, there's there's camera people going around.
Yeah, that's it.
Time. Even if not live events, there's photos. You always have to be a bit mindful. You don't want to do the real. Oh damn!
It's like, oh, that's very good. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, actually, seriously, is no. I haven't been to an award ceremony where they give you an opportunity to talk after, a speech of any sorts. They usually is quite a rushed night. So I think don't be nervous if anybody's up shortlisted for an award. Don't be nervous to go and pick it up if you do win, because you'll go up a handshake, collect the award photo, and be back off. And equally with that, I can't remember what the accounts actually what we did, whether a load of us went up or whether it was just one. But I'm sure it might have been told can one person go up. But there would have been instances where whole teams of people went up.
That's nice.
I kind of think that's good. I think sod it, go for it. Get the whole table up. Who's going to kick them off if you've won? Just get everybody involved and go up and enjoy the moment either way.
And you get a great photo of you all at the end to sort of commemorate it, don't you, as well, which is nice.
Absolutely. It's always a surprise. I think, whilst it is a surprise, I guess the other point is you do think, we're in for a shout here, so you don't want the disappointment of winning. It's just emotional overall. It's certainly. I remember it being a good night with Tom Allen there as well. So having fun generally on the night was really good. I remember it being a bit of a surprise. But then we were confident before we went into it. So is it a real surprise? A bit of shock. I kind of remember afterwards thinking about the opportunities arising and what we can then do. I think overall it's just a good thing to be part of. Why wouldn't you? If you got the chance to enter an award, go along on the night, enjoy a good evening in general, a good compare. And Tom, I must say, I'd get him back every year. I remember he went into great detail last year talking about some of the sponsors, which was brilliant and great fun. So a good compare is always very, very good.
I think it's a chance to showcase the best in the profession and all the great things that we do across accountancy and tax. And for me, actually, I also really like it as an opportunity to find out about what firms are doing that I might not know about. So especially some smaller firms who are doing some really exciting stuff, like you were saying, Sharon. And this is a chance for everyone to find out about what people are doing out there. So yeah, that's my view. I think it's a great showcase for the best of the profession, but also just to find out what everyone's up to.
Interesting. I think for me, it's a sign of all the hard work that's going on paying off. It's a time to draw a line, reflect on where we've been, where we've come, And there's a lot of hard work happening, and it's a good opportunity to celebrate that.
Yeah, I mean, I put that in the same sentiment, really. I love the idea that there's a number of firms that aren't, competing against one another per se. It's just a number of peer groups that you've got a great opportunity to mingle with. You've got a great opportunity to see what they're doing, hear what they're doing, and that can be fascinating, because just for your own learning and development as a business, why wouldn't you try to explore that?
Well, I haven't been before, but I've heard of it by reputation. So the bit about Tom Allen and the sponsor stories became quite well known last year. So I'm looking forward to experiencing that firsthand.
I was going to say it's quite a nice excuse to get a new dress and some new shoes, which is always welcome. Also looking forward to catching up with people who you see in little boxes on the screen like we're doing now, but you don't get to see in person quite often enough, so nice opportunity to catch up with some people as well in person.
Yeah, I mean, dressing up, taking the team out is always good. I particularly stress to try to avoid just having a senior leadership group go. We actively really avoid that these days, because it's a senior leadership team will see it as a fairly droll night almost, been there, done it. Not everybody, but some may. But take some of the junior members of the team, just from a point of view of thinking of them having a good night out. They've contributed and can feel part of it. It's nothing more, I remember many years ago when I was at that kind of level, nothing more frustrating than hearing about award ceremonies, hearing about the cost of tickets and all this kind of jazz, and making it a big night and black tie event and not being invited and seeing you won, yet you contributed towards it. I think it's actually really good for more junior members of the team than senior members. So a nice blend, maybe that's the answer. But I think, looking forward to going and spending time with some of the team that you don't see all the time or communicate with, really looking forward to that side again. Dream. Depends whether you're thinking comedic angle, icons. I could think of many different ways of looking at it. I think comedy is always good because it lightens the mood. Say Tom Allen nailed it last year. I think following that route, last one was Victoria Corin Mitchell, and she was brilliant. She absolutely smashed it and nailed it again, talking about certain things in tax. I think Rob Beckett would be very good. So just general people person comedian, that makes sense. Ones that really engage with an audience would be a dream one for me, that can capture it and don't make it seem like a really slow evening.
We've got the ex-maths teachers in that group as well, haven't we? So the Greg Davies, the Ramesh Ranganathan. They can be good.
Yeah. I mean, comedians are always the obvious ones because they're going to capture the audience without a doubt, aren't they? Rather than any kind of sports person or other TV personality. I think I've definitely had TV personalities before that have done panel shows, but not the comedians. So I would personally love to see just the good comedians out there, without a doubt. I mean, promotion of the firm, proud of the teams that work for. So staff morale, staff retention, staff recruitment. We didn't really touch upon the recruitment side of things, but the professional services world is a difficult area at the moment to recruit in. It makes it a bit easier if you've won an award. It's not going to be guaranteed, but it certainly helps that you can showcase that in front of potential employees, and equally current employees. This thing, part of an award-winning firm is always really, really helpful. Good night out, as we've said, and the promotion for the firm, talking to clients, make a point if you're shortlisted or winning, as we've said about. Tell your clients either way. I'm sure they'd rather be associated to a winning firm or a award-winning firm or shortlisted for awards rather than a firm that never bother entering into an award. I certainly would be if I was a client.
No, absolutely. I think that's right, Chris. And celebrate all the hard work you do and that your team do, and things it's been a challenging few years for the industry, so this is a really nice time, I think, to recap on that and have a bit of a celebration of all we've achieved, and have some fun with it, and absolutely make the most of it if you're shortlisted or you win.
Yep, I echo all of that. Own our excellence.
Oh, I like that.